Morning, Brigadier.
Good morning, Mr. Ramsepin.
Now, Brigadier, when we adjourned on Friday, one of the things that I requested was for us to go back and look at the witnesses according to their contemporaneous statements that were made on the 27th of October 2014 to have a regard as to which witnesses referred to the firearm that a .38 special revolver and which one simply referred to it as a firearm or as a gun. Did you have an opportunity to do that exercise?
Yes, I did, my lord, and I'll get to it. But just quickly, my lord, on the issue of the statement by Colonel Stein that relates to the communication with accused 3. What I recall I said there was a briefing given to me by Colonel Stein where he says there is a link between Ms. Kelly Khumalo and the accused 3. And I can confirm that that statement is there because I had an opportunity to check. So as to how we get it to Mr. Mnisi, I will liaise, like as Advocate Baloyi is saying, when that proper channel is there. So I will assist in that regard when we can speak openly about it. But I had to go and look myself, to check if it needs such.
When you say it is there, it is where?
It is in the docket.
In the docket?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
fine.
So and I'll assist with in making sure that Mr. Mnisi gets it.
All right.
Ngiqala ke kudaba lolu statement akhuluma ngaso ke uadvocate Mnisi ukuthi bengishilo kubufakazi bami ukuthi ke mangitshela uyena uColonel Stein ngathi ke kwakhona uxhumana kwakhona phakathi komsolo wesithathu no Miss Kelly Khumalo nokuthi sikhona statement ke sikudocket ke ngizokhulumisana ke naye umshushisi ke sibone ukuthi uadvocate Mnisi leso statement leso usithola kanjani ngoba ngibenalo ithuba lokuthi ngiyobheka ngathola ukuthi sikhona leso statement leso kudocket.
Okay, fine.
Yes. So, yes, my lord. Now, coming back to the question by Mr. Ramsipile, my lord. Yes, the only statements that I recall, and I'm subject to guidance by Mr. Longwe, and I was specific in terms of the paragraph that where this is contained, where he refers to the revolver or 38. That is statement he made back in 2014, my lord. Mr. Madlala also. But I've also noted, my lord, in the interview that were conducted by Mrs. Warrant Officer Steenkamp, it is clear also there that when she was interacting with Ms. Kelly Khumalo, the issue of a revolver became apparent. In fact, if you look at her interview notes, they seem to suggest that everyone may be giving that impression. So that's basically how I can answer the question, my lady.
Mangaphendula ke umbuzo ukuthi ke ngile yini ngayobuka ngawubheka ke statement ukuthi bapho ofakazi abakhuluma ke nge-revolver abakhuluma nge.38 uma ke siqala kena ke ulongo thwala sinakhona statement esakhe ke la akhuluma khona ke nge.38 akhuluma nge-revolver statement leso sango 2014 kanye naye ke uTumelo Madlala. Uma sibuka futhi ke na uma ke uCaptain Steenkamp when interview kanye naye ke Miss Kelly Khumalo naye ke ekhuluma ngaso noma ke ngayo ke i-revolver.
Now, perhaps for completeness sake, let's go at Seria team with respect to Longwe Thwala. The statement that he deposed on the 27th of October 2014 will be A9 according to your docket. And in that A9, he describes, like you correctly say, that the firearm that he observed was a .38 special or a 3.8 special, because there's also another dot in between. So
that is correct, my lord.
Yebo ke statement ke izoba yona ke A9 la ashoyo ke khona ke ulongwe akhuluma ngaye i.38 special.
And then Tumelo Madlala deposed to A10 on the very same date as Longwe, on the 27th of October 2014, and then he described the firearm as well as a .38 special.
That is correct, my lord.
Ngazo i-27 lezo zika-October 2014 naye-ke uTumelo Madlala wenza statement naye-ke ekhuluma ngayo i-point 38 special.
And then he also, Tumelo Madala, later on deposed to A110, in which he said the following, that I said to the person that was taking the statement from me that the firearm I observed had a wheel in the middle. I did not specifically say it's a .38 special. That's what's contained in A110.
Correct, my lord.
Uyiqiniso nokuthi waphinda kamuva-ke uTumelo Madlala wenza esinye-ke istatement la ashoyo khona ukuthi umuntu owayebhala istatement ngayo kwakuyisibhawo angaze ngisho ukuthi kwakuyi-.38 special.
However, despite that attempt of Tumelo Madala to distance himself from A10 by saying that I did not say this is .38 special, A10 speaks for itself. That's what it describes in A10. The supplementary comes much later.
That is correct, my lord, but it is a fact that Tumelo Madlala is not licensed, because I profiled him, my lord, to possess, he doesn't have a license to possess firearms. So I do know that when this issue was taken up with him, when I was involved, the assertion from him was that he's not clued up with firearms and he will not be able to distinguish whether it's a revolver or is this type of firearm. All I can say in that regard, my lord, is that he is not qualified in terms of the papers. He does not have a license to possess a firearm, so he lacks, with greatest respect, experience in my view, my lord.
Kodwa-ke u-A10-ke ekuyisona istatement awasenza kuqala-ke ukushilo lokho kwakusho lapho la alungisa khona-ke noma lesi sesibili kwakusho lokho kamuva-ke. Yebo-ke kodwa-ke engakusho ukuthi uma ngabe mina-ke sengiyingxenye manje yophenyo sengikhuluma naye ngikhulumisa ngalolu daba-ke washo-ke kumina ukuthi yena-ke ulwazi lwey'bhamu akanazo, futhi-ke nami ngingasho-ke ukuthi akasiyena-ke uchwepheshe noma ungoti uma kuza-ke kuyibhamu, futhi akanawo-ke amaphepha amvumela ukuthi-ke abe nolwazi kuyizona iy'bhamu.
Yes, ma'am.
But in A110, not to belabor this point, he should have gone further and say what you are saying, to say, I am not an expert in firearms, I am not licensed, therefore, when I was saying .38 special or a revolver, I was meaning generically to a firearm. He did not say that.
Yes, my lord, but Mr. Madlala, I think he made about 3 or 4 statements. So one will have to check all the statements, with a microscopic view, to ensure that it did not cover it perhaps in the other statements, because in the one that Mr. Ramsipule is referring to, yes, indeed, he didn't say that, but there are other statements that he made subsequent to this one, my lord.
As a court, please, my lord, we're just trying to find the relevant portion of Mr. Madlala's evidence. But he did testify that he doesn't have knowledge of firearms, and without prescribing to my learned friend, I think it's perhaps better to relate what is in the statement with the evidence, because the statement was made some time ago. The witness has since come, testified, and clarified all these aspects. It will be of no consequence, my lord, to harp on the statement with respect that was made some time ago when the witness has already testified. As a
Kodwa-ke uTumelo Madlala yena-ke akajulanga-ke noma-ke adike-ke achazeke ngale ndlela wena-ke kuchaza ngayo, yinto le angabe wayenza-ke kusona istatement asho-ke ukuthi cha anginawo-ke amaphepha futhi angisiyena-ke kungoti kuyibhamu. Kodwa umuntu uzofanele abheke-ke zonke iy'tatimende azenza uTumelo, ngoba kenzanga-ke istatimende esodwa. Yebo, kuleso okhuluma ngaso wena-ke akakushongo lokho, kodwa kufanele kubhekwe nezinye futhi iy'tatimende bese-ke umshushisi-ke yebo kuyiqiniso-ke ukuthi wakusho lokho noma-ke istatimende sisho kanjalo, kodwa-ke sikhuluma ngofakazi ozile enkantolo wachaza-ke lokhu washo ngale ndlela-ke ufakazi asho ngayo.
The portion, my lord, that we're referring to is the evidence given by Mr. Tumelo Madlala on the 10th of August 2023 at page 4 during cross-examination by Mr. Numalo at line 12. Mr. Ngumalo says, so the description of the firearm that you gave in that paragraph, it is stated that it was a .38 special. Is that the description that you gave to the police? Then Mr. Madlala answers, I do not know what a .38 special is. All I know is that the description that I gave was a description in as far as the firearm that had a wheel on it. That is the description I gave to the police, and as far as the .38 special or 3.8 special is concerned, I did not know firearm. I did not say that it was a .38 special.
Impendulo ke leyo yakhe uNomelo Madlala uma wayebuzwa ke imibuzo yena uadvocate uNomalo ngazo i-10 zika-August ngo-2023 ukuthi ke akusho yena ke emaphoyiseni akazange akhulume ngayo i.38 special, kodwa ke wathi nje uma sichaza isibhamu leso wakhuluma ngesibhamu esinesondo ibhamu futhi angizazi yilokho akusho.
My Lord, just a crisp response. There's no contestation between me and the state on that. I even put it to the witness on Friday that in his defense, I stated to him that Tumelo Madala said the description that he gave was a firearm with a wheel. I told this witness that on Friday. But I'm just comparing what's written in the statement, what he testified about. So there's no contestation between us. Now, like you've testified that certain witnesses, especially the ones that have come and testified that were in the house, typically Zandile Kumalo as well said, and I remember vividly, I was cross-examining her. She said, I'm not an expert in firearms, I won't be able to describe it. Similarly, Mtokozisi Twala could not describe the firearm. And the point that I'm coming to, Longwe Twala has yet to testify in this matter. And his description, you'll agree with me, that it's a .38 special still stands, according to his statements.
Yes, according to the statement, my Lord, it still stands. However, he is also in the same boat with Tumelo Madlala, and so are the other people who were in the house. None of them possess a license for the firearm. So there are no expertise in terms of the firearm. I'm saying legally, in terms of the profiling. What is factually correct, my Lord, and that I can rely on is that the experts, this is now the ballistic expert, at the crime scene, they found a projectile that relates to the 9mm. And that is why in my statements, when I refer to a revolver, I said purporting to be a revolver in relation to what was contained in the statement, not what was the factual finding, because I was laying the basis of what is contained in the docket. But yes, that still stands, as Mr. Ramsipile says, but there are no expertise there, with greatest respect to him as well, my Lord.
Yebo kuyiqiniso ukuthi lokho okushiwo uyena ke uLongwe ngokwendlela ke obhalwe ngayo kwistatement kusamile ke ukuthi ke washo ukuthi i.38 special, kodwa ke ngokufanayo ke nabanye abotumelo kanye nabanye ofakazi ke naye uLongwe Twala akanawo ke amaphepha amvumela ukuthi ke ngokusemthethweni abe nesibhamu nokuthi futhi angaba ungoti noma abe nolwazi ke. Kodwa ke kuloko okwatholwa ke labo abangongoti abasebenzi noma abayileke kwindawo yesigameko, bona ke bathola ke inhlamvu ekuyinhlamvu ephuma kwisibhamu ekuyi-9mm. Kodwa yebo kona lokho kuyiqiniso ukuthi usho kanjalo uLongwe yena.
Okay. Then A12, we are still on the witnesses that were in the house. A12 is a statement of Gladness Kumalo or Makumalo. She also did not give a specific description of the firearm.
Correct, my Lord.
Kuyiqiniso ku-A12 kuyistatement esakhe ke uMakhumalo noma uGladness Khumalo naye ke isibhamu akasichazanga lapho.
And A13 is the statement of Ms. Zandile Kumalo. She too did not give a specific description of the firearm.
Yes, she didn't give it. Both A12 and A13, my Lord, did not give a description of a specific firearm, in other words, in terms of the type or the make. But they do say the first intruder was carrying a firearm. That's the essence of it.
Yebo kuyiqiniso ke zombili ke le statement u812 esakheke uMakhumalo no813 sakheke uZandile Khumalo akunasibhamu esithize abashoyo noma abachazayo kodwa ke bayasho ukuthi omunye walaba ke abangena wayephethe isibhamu.
And finally, 826 is the statement of Muthokozi Sitwala, and also he too did not describe the firearm in specific terms.
Yes, indeed. Except to say the intruder had a firearm, but not describing it. So the presence of the firearm becomes prevalent, my lord, in these statements.
Kuyiqiniso ke nakena ke Mthokozi Sithwala akasho ukuthi isibhamu esinjani kodwa uyasho nje ukuthi omunye ke wayephethe isibhamu. Manje sekuyavela ke noma kuyagqama ke lokhu noma la kule statement yeke ukuthi ukhona sasikhona isibhamu.
Now the second aspect that I parked was the issue that I said I don't want to put a wrong proposition to you regarding where the so-called runaway phone lost its signal. Remember that issue?
I do remember, my lord.
Now, you said in your 8225, the statement that we were busy with on Friday, that the signal was lost at the Fosluras hostel. And my follow-up question was, what do you mean by the Fosluras hostel? Because my assumption is that there are several hostels in Fosluras.
That's correct, my lord, but I seem to recall my response being in this context that it lost the signal because it's very specific, and I testify about it in my evidence in chief on the Muleleki Tower. That's the last tower that picked up the cell phone signal. And I do recall, my lord, that I said in my interaction with the expert, Kenneth Stein, says that tower, because we had to do a site visit, in terms of the distance, can cover the Basutuni hostel, which was now a place where allegations are saying that is where the planning was done, and that's where the perpetrators met after the incident. So that's how I recall I dealt with that question, my lord.
Uma ke bengikubuza ke noma ke kunodaba ke bengibekile ke ngithi ngizokuyela kulona ukuthi umakhalekhukhwini lo owathathwa ke kuyona ke indawo yesigameko ukuthi waphelela kuphi ke noma kula i-network ke wagcina ke ukuthi bambe khona shilo ke ngathi ke iMuleleki Tower nokuthi futhi nokuthi kuyobheka ke ibanga ke phakathi kwayo ke iMuleleki Tower lena kanye ke nayo ke iBasuthu hostel noma ke iyayifaka iyayikhava yila engikhulume khona ke nongoti noma labo abasebenza ngabo amakhalekhukhwini washo ke ukuthi ke iMuleleki leyana ke iyayixosha noma ke iyayikhava iBasuthu hostel nensolo ke ehamba zithi ke ila khona ke ukuhlelwa ke kwako konke lokho kwenzeka khona nasemuva kwesiganeko ukuthi abantu abakwenza lokho bahamba baya khona eBasuthu hostel.
Now, in just for clarification of that question and that answer that you've just given now, in her evidence in chief, when she was led by my learned colleague, Advocate Sibanda, Ms. Pinky Vitillingham testified as follows regarding that aspect, whether Muleleki Tower does cover Basuthu hostel. And she replied that Basuthu hostel could be serviced by the following 4 towers, which are Fosloras Tower, Fosloras Square Tower, Phoenix Tower, and Bopang Khotso Tower. And Muleleki Tower was not one of the towers that she mentioned that the coverage extends to.
My lord, like I said, I do not have expertise. All I was relying on is that the expert is informing me that in terms of where that tower was situated and the distance to the hostel, it is possible that it will cover it. That's the explanation I've got. What was not given to me, it wasn't to say on that specific day, these other towers were not active, or this tower was the only one that was active. That information was not given to me, because I do know that it depends as to which tower is involved. But like I said, my lord, maybe it's the area that one should not venture into, because I'm not an expert in those areas.
Uma ke ukufakazi bakhe ke uMiss Kingi Vitillingham kunamatower awasho ke ukuthi ngaba yona ke cover ke yona ke iBasuthu hostel, iFosloras Tower, iFosloras Square, clinics, just Mr. Fopan, Mr.
Bopang Khotso.
Nebupang Khotso. Mina ke engikushilo ke ukuthi mina ngiya umbiko ke engawunikezwa ke uma ngikhuluma naye-ke umboti engitshela-ke angakushongo kumina ukuthi-ke la amanye amathawa aye-on yini ngalelo langa noma leyona-ke ithawa. Mhlampe-ke akusibona-ke udaba engingagxila noma ngingene kulona ngoba angisiyena umboti kulokho.
And in our discussion, my lord, the other towers were not part of our discussion with Kenneth Stein. It was simply the focus of the last tower where the phone went off. It was in relation just to that. These other towers, in the discussion as to whether there are other towers that covers the Basutino hostel or etc. We didn't venture into that discussion, my lord. So that's something that was not discussed between us.
Sorry, who is this expert?
That is Kenneth Stein.
Yeah, because Mr. Ramsipid is referring to Pinky. It's evidence. Is that, am I correctly
Yes,
quoting?
my lord.
And you are talking of a different expert.
Yes, that's Kenneth Stein, my lord.
My lord,
This is Stein, you are saying Pinky.
yes, because my lord,
Yeah, fine.
my understanding is that both experts did separate duties.
I don't know.
Colonel Stein did the analysis and downloads of the cell phones and made the so-called linkages, the spider webs, and Ms. Vittillingham spoke about the movement of the cell phones, the calls made, the calls received, text, SMSs, and the towers that were pinged during the making of those transactions. Now, my lord, the other thing that I want to come to is not a question per se to the brigadier, but it's a question that was raised by the court regarding whether Mulelegi Tower is north-south of the hostel. I had a look, my lord. Unfortunately, the directions are given in coordinates of latitude, longitude, and it's only numbers. Unfortunately, I'm also not an expert in that regard, but as a cross-examiner, I'm also interested to know relative to the hostel where Mulelegi Tower is directionally, my lord. So I'll leave it. Perhaps Ms. Vittillingham can come and just ventilate that aspect for us at the later stage, my lord.
No, but what's critical also for this court,
Yes.
was there a phone, cell phone, which was at some stage situated in the house allegedly wherein two intruders got in and got out, according to the evidence? Zandile says somebody was elbowed
The mother was punched, elbowed.
and then the cell phone was taken. Now, was it inside the house? Because that's critical for this court also. Inside the house, not where it landed. Fine.
It is of absolute importance, my lord, and I'll tell the,
Yeah, you're right.
the court why.
I say in addition.
Yes, I'll tell the court.
Now you can argue that.
We'll argue that, but it's very vital, my lord. I do agree.
Yeah, fine.
Now, Brigadier, let's return then to A225 because I was taking you through your statement A225 in support of the application for the J50 warrant of arrest in terms of Section 43 for Ms. Nontlantla Kelly Khumalo.
Correct, my lord.
And on Friday, when we stopped, we were at the question of the transparent plastic bag with note of money in it, wherein I asked you, did you ascertain the source of that photo from the trio of people that you say this is a common denominator in their downloads? Remember that?
I do recall, my lord.
Yebo kwiqiniso ngiyakhumbula-ke ngokwesihlanu uma ungibuza-ke ngaleli saka-ke elanemali leli obonayo-ke ngaphakathi kulona-ke ukuthi ngabuza yini kulabantu abathathu-ke ukuthi ngabe leso sithombe leso sasibuya kuphi.
And the point really that I was making is this. Here is a picture common to three people that are known to each other that required examination, people being asked where does it come from, who's the source of this picture, explain this money in this bag, and that was never done. That's the essence of what I was putting on Friday.
Yeah, so my lord, my recollection on Friday, we were dealing with the issue with the same plastic bag in relation to accused number 3. That's
Yes.
why it was specific because we had gone past Ms. Kelly Khumalo and Longwe. So it was centered around accused 3 as to whether on the day, and that's what I recall, that on the day when we went to measure, or when he was measured, what was this question put forward? I know Mr. Advocate Minister was interested in that regard as to whether he was asked, this is now Advocate Minister's client, about the bag or not. That's where we were. And I can answer it in this way, my lord. Let me just deal with it now. So the sequence of events followed like this, because they're important in terms of the answer that I will give, my lord. On the 16th of June 2020, accused number 2 gets arrested for the Wanongoma case. Then on the 19th of June, he makes a statement, the first confession that he makes to Lieutenant Colonel Rapado. And for the first time on the 16th of June, the name of accused 3, I'll just focus on accused 3, comes up for the first time.
Ngizophendula ngale ndlela-ke lo mbuzo ngokuthi-ke ngichaze-ke ukuyenzeka kwezinto ngokulandelelana ngaphambi kokuthi nginikeze-ke impendulo yami. Uma ngikhumbula kahle-ke ngolesihlanu besedlulile-ke kuyena-ke uKelly Khumalo kanye naye-ke uLongwethwala mayelana naleli sakade, kodwa besigxile kuyena-ke umsolo wesithathu. Okwenzekayo-ke ukuthi-ke ngeyi-16 zikaJune 2020 kuboshwa yena-ke umsolo wesibili. Bese kuthi ngeyi-19 zikaJune 2020 ila enza khona-ke okokuqala istatement ngaphambi kwakhe uKolonel Rapado, ila okokuqala-ke kuvela khona-ke igama kamsolo wesithathu.
Yes, my lord. Now, 2-3 days later, then the second confession is made to the magistrate. That is the 24th of June 2020.
Bese kuthi-ke emuva-ke kwamalanga amabili amathathu-ke emva kwalokho ngeyi-24 zikaJune 2020 ila manje-ke sekwenziwa istatement phambi kwayo-ke i-magistrate.
What is prudent to note, my lord, is that prior to these 2 dates, we did not have the downloadings of accused 3 because he was not on site. The people that were analyzed was accused 1 and 2, and then when we got to 2, then accused 3's name comes up on the 19th and the 24th. So then the analysis starts in terms of identifying as to who is this Carlos Buthelezi that is being referred to. And then it leads us now to accused number 3.
Bese kuthi-ke manje-ke uma phambi kwalokho-ke noma phambi kwale-19 days-ke besingazilutho-ke noma kukho-ke ekusikhomba kuyena-ke umsolo wesithathu. Kungazo-ke manje-ke le-19 lezi-ke kanye futhi-ke nale date lena-ke i-24 la esekuvela khona-ke manje igama likamangalelwa umsolo wesithathu. Manje-ke sekufanele sibheke-ke sibukeke ukuthi ubani-ke manje lo Carlos Buthelezi ekhulunywa ngayo.
This is where, my lord, we then established that he was incarcerated for the Cleveland case. This is now the possession of a firearm under Cleveland case 96 of 2015. And that is where the firearm involved in this matter, or that was used in this matter, is alleged that was found in his possession, and the cell phones that were taken back in 2015. So these events kicks in around that period of late June 2020.
Ila esesithola khona-ke manje ukuthi-ke yena-ke umsolo wesithathu lokhulunywa ngayo noma-ke uCarlos Buthelezi-ke wayeboshiwe noma-ke esesitokisini-ke ngaleso sikhathi for icala leliyana-ke lase-Cleveland 962 of 2015. Ila khona-ke futhi ukuthi-ke kuvela khona-ke indaba-ke yesibhamu lesi-ke kusolo ukuthi-ke isona-ke esasetshenziswa kulona-ke icala leli.
Then on the 30th, my lord, specifically, this is now 6 days after Mrs. Grenier took the confession, 30th of June 2020. That's when accused number 3 was interviewed by me and measured by Colonel Mangena. So it's 6 days after the last confession, and it is before the downloadings analysis picked up the see-through bag from his phone and the report given back to me.
Manje-ke kuyinsuku-ke noma kumalanga-ke ayisithupha-ke emuva kwalokho noma emuva kokuthi-ke i-statement noma-ke i-confession lena ithathwe yena-ke umagistrate ukhulunywe ngeyazo i-date zikaJune 2020. Umsolo wesithathu-ke manje sengiba nomhlolo khona noma i-interview kanye naye-ke lokho kungaphambi kokuthi-ke kutholwe noma kwenziwe-ke ama-download kumakhalekhukhwini wakhe.
The first statement, my lord, that I recall receiving from the downloader, where this bag and other contents, including the firearms and the photos that we dealt with, my lord, my recollection is that it came to my attention on the 17th of August 2020. That was after we interviewed the accused number 3 in prison, and that's the It was after he was measured.
Ukhumbula kwami-ke istatement sokuqala-ke manje sizayo noma-ke esivelayo-ke mayelana-ke nama-downloads lawo isikhwama lesi-ke noma isaka leli-ke lanemali kanye futhi nokunye-ke kwatholakala iy'thombe iy'bhamu kwakungazo iyi-17 zika-August 2020 kusemuva-ke kokuthi sengaba nayo interview noma inhlolo khona kanye nayo.
And then after the downloads were provided to us, my lord, those downloads were forwarded to Kenneth Stein, who is an analyst. He is the one then who was able to pick up this common denominator, but this is after the interview.
Emuva kokuthi-ke manje-ke ama-downloads lawo-ke esenikezwe kuthina-ke ase andluliselwa kuyena-ke uKenneth Stein ukuyena-ke umcwaningi-ke uyena-ke owathola-ke noma-ke owathosha-ke ukuthi-ke khona-ke lesi sithombe lesi-ke esihlanganayo lokho kusemuva-ke kokuthi-ke kwakunenhlolo khona.
And my lord, as to why we will not have gone back, because the question may arise as to why then couldn't you go back, the answer lies on the response. And that's why I was saying, when we interview accused 3, there are certain assertions that he went to, and in fairness to him, I even said to Mr. Ramsipilo, do you want me to go there? Because I know the consequences of going there. There are certain assertions he made in terms of how we must engage moving forward in the warning statement. And because of that, I could not go back to him. It's there in the warning statement, my lord.
Okunye futhi-ke ukuthi-ke uma ngikhulumisana naye-ke nenhlolo khona naye-ke ingakho-ke bengibuzile-ke kuyena kuMr. Ramsipilo uyafisa yini ukuthi ngiye khona lapho ngoba kunezinto ey'thile-ke azisho-ke yingakho ngakaze ngingabuyelanga kuyena-ke kukhona-ke lokho lapho yana kuyona i-warning statement.
That is the essence of the answer, my lord.
Now, we are still on 8225. You go on to say there is also communication records between her and her sister that shows that as early as 2013 she wanted to get rid of the deceased, as she put it clearly on the WhatsApp messages. It is abundantly clear that she hated him and she wanted to get rid of him. She further states that she regrets not succeeding to get rid of him. Taking into account all these facts, an inference can be drawn that she meant killing him.
I do recall that, my lord.
Now I'm going to refer you to Exhibit 01, which is the statement of Colonel Stein, and he testified about these documents, and the WhatsApp messages that you are referring to are also extracted and form part of 01, Exhibit 01. So if I may respectfully refer you to page 6 of 01, if you've got it.
01, that is a statement of who? What will be the index number, perhaps, that will assist me with the docket?
It's 01. There's no A number on here, so I can't give you the index number.
I will. Who's Colonel?
It's one of Colonel Stein's affidavits. He made 01 and 02. 02 deals with the communication between Logwetwala and Kelly and Zandis mainly, but 01 deals with communication and linkages with Kelly Kumalo and other targets.
My lord, I'll have to look for it because Colonel Stein made various statements, so and they're not small statements. So one will have to. I'll try and look for it maybe while we proceed.
Yes, but I want us to go through that because there's an aspect that I'm going to. I see my learned colleague handed you pages. Are those not extra?
No. He handed me the pages of 225, my statement.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So my lord,
bese kufundile-ke lana uMr. Ramsipilo ila asho khona-ke noma aqhubekayo kwisicelo sakhe-ke uqakadiye ukuthi-ke yena-ke nodadewabo-ke ekhuluma nemixoxisano kwabo-ke ngo-2013 ila ayefuna khona-ke umguduza khona futhi asho-ke nokuthi wayeyisola noma uyayisola-ke ukuthi-ke angazange aphumelele ekuthini amguduze ngaleso sikhathi leso.
if maybe for the sake of brevity, I'll my learned colleague has got it here. are you in possession of 01, especially the part that has got extract of text messages between Mrs. Zandile Khumalo and Kelly Khumalo?
I do have extracts, my lord, although they are not marked 01, but I suppose it refers, I do have, it's something similar.
Yes, if you look at the bottom of the document, it will have 6-page Colonel statement of Colonel Stein with cell number, and then it will
Yes.
have page 6, 7
Yes.
onwards.
Yes,
So
that's what
let's
I
start,
have.
I think it
That's
starts
what
at
I have.
Page 6.
Yes.
And at the title at the top, it will say, I mean, in the middle where the messages start with boxes there, it will say SMS received by Zandi Khumalo, Nokia N8-00 in brackets RM-596, close bracket, Zandi Khumalo, and it's XRY, sent by Kelly Khumalo, 08227 08227044358. I think there's extra numbers there, you can see that.
Yes, I can see
Yes.
that, I agree.
So if we go to the text message, because the actual text message that was screen grabbed is in the box, you cannot see it, but it is also typed out, and it will have telephone number, which is 2782 704 4358, and then the text will say Sonzo's mom is talking to every radio station in Devon, telling how it would be my fault if she dies of heart attack. Can you believe this woman? You see the text message?
I do see, my lord.
Ngiyabona ke lomlayezo ufundayo ufundeka ngalendlela ke uma kasenzo ukhuluma ke nazo zonke iziteshi zomsakazo eDurban esho ke ukuthi kuzoba iphutha lami kanjani uma esengashona ke noma ke shona ngenhliziyo uyamkholelwa yini lo muntu uyamkholwa yini lo muntu wesifazane noma lo mama.
Now, if you take it from there and placing on record the time, the status, the storage, the type, and the folder.
Yes, so time as should I use this one? So the time, my lord, it's date and time. It's 2013 of October the 11th. Time it's 09:43:59 seconds AM. Status, it says it's read. Storage type device. Type incoming. Folder it's inbox.
Imininingwane lana ifuneka ngalendlela ke kwakunge 2013 10/11/09:43 nama seconds of 59 ekseni iyasho ukuthi umlayezo wafundwa ke ukuthi ke umlayezo owawungena nokuthi ke inbox.
And then let's go to the second message and place it on record.
Yes. Should I place it?
Yes.
The second message is from 278270444358. Text reads as follows, my lord. I regret everything. I wish I didn't allow Senzo into my life. Look at all the mess it has gotten us into. It's all his lies now affecting all of us.
Sorry.
Yeah. Then the time and date, my lord, it's 2013 October the 11th, and time it's 09:46:44 seconds AM. Status, it says it's read. Storage, it says device. Type, it says incoming, and the folder is inbox.
Lomlayezo ufundeka ngalendlela ke wabuya kule number 278270444358. Umlayezo uthi ke ngiyayisola ke ngayo yonke into ongathi ke ngangazange ngimvumeleke uSenzo empilweni yami. Bheka ke manje lokhu eseyisingenise kukona ke sisonke amanga akhe onke manje ke lana asenomthelela kithina sonke. Isikhathi 2013 10/11/09:46:44 AM. ishoke ukuthi umlayezo wafundwa ukuthi ke yagcinwa kuphi noma ke storage kuwona ke makhalekhukhwini device kwakuyumlayezo owawungena ke ifolder inbox.
Let's go to the next third message on page 7 at the top.
That message says telephone from 278270444358. The text reads as follows, my lord. No, Sisi, it makes matters worse for me because I am just seeing a person who is wrecking Senzo's family. Time and date, my lord, is 2013 October 11. Time is 09:50:02 seconds a.m. Status read. Storage device type incoming and the folder inbox.
Olandelayo ke ufundeka ngalendlela ukuthi ke ubuya kwinamba u278270444358. Uthi ke umlayezo cha sisi sekwenza nje ukuthi izinto ke zibembi kakhulu ke manje ngoba mina ke umuntu nje obonayo nanje ngomuntu nje osakazayo noma ke ochitha umndeni kaSenzo isikhathi 2013-10-11-0950 nama seconds awu2 status yasho ukuthi umlayezo wafundwa nokuthi ke wagcinwa kuphi storage device kwakumlayezo ongenayo ifolder inbox.
Then I suppose I should proceed. Yes. Okay. The next one, my lord, says telephone from 278270444358. Text, no. It reads as follows, the text, my lord. No, it won't. It will just mean that I went through all this for nothing. But I think he is gonna leave because he is shit scared of his mother. I wish I was not pregnant. I was going to let him go. Time and date, my lord, is 2013 October the 11th, and the time is 09:53:31 seconds a.m. The status says read, and the storage device type incoming, the folder is inbox.
Olandelayo ke inamba u2782 noma ubuya kwinamba ke 278270444358. Mlayezo ufundeka ngalendlela ke cha angeke kuzosho nje ukuthi ke mina ke ngiye ngandlula kona konke lokho ngidlulela ke ize noma ke into engekho, kodwa ngicabanga ukuthi ke uzohamba ngoba ke uyamsaba uma wakhe. Ngiyafisa nje ukuthi ngangingakhulelwe ngoba ngangizomdedela ahambe isikhathi 2013-10-11-0953 ama seconds awu31 am. Status yasho ukuthi umlayezo wafundwa storage noma la ugcinwe khona ke kuwo nomakhalekhukhwini device uhlobo ke kwaku message engenayo ifolder inbox.
My lord, my apologies for pronouncing this vulgar word, but that's how it's written, so I don't know how to so my apologies. The next message, my lord, says telephone from 278270444358. Then it says text, the text, I wish God would tell me why. Time and date is 2013 October the 11th. Time is 09:58:31 seconds a.m. Status read. Storage device type incoming.
Olandelayo ke umlayezo buya kuyona ke inamba 2782704438. Umlayezo ke uthi ngiyafisa ukuthi uNkulunkulu angangitshela ukuthi kungani isikhathi ke 2013-10-11-0958 nama seconds awu31. Uyasho ke ukuthi ke umlayezo wafundwa ke ukuthi ke wagcina kuphi kuwona umakhalekhukhwini nokuthi ke uhlobo kwakuwumlayezo ongenayo.
The next one on page 8, my lord, says telephone from 278270444358. Text, Senzo is not strong enough for all of this, though. I feel like standing alone. Time is 2013, date is 2013 October the 11th, and time is 10:06:44 a.m. Status says read, my lord. Storage device, type incoming, folder inbox.
Bese futhi olandelayo ke buyeka kuyona ke number 27827044358 umlayezo uthi ke usenzo ke akekho strong ke for kona konke lokhu ngizizwa nje ingathi ngayimela ngedwa. Date u2013 10/11 isikhathi u10:06 nama seconds awu44. Umlayezo wafundwa ke wagcinwa kuona noma ke storage wagcinwa kuona ke makhala kokweni ukuthi kwakumlayezo owathunyelwa kuyo ifolder inbox.
The next message, my lord, says telephone from 278270444358. The text reads as follows: he's panicking, remember. He's panicking, remember. This is his first big and bad publicity. So he's worried about his entire family. Time and date. The date reads as follows: 2013 October the 11th. Time 10:12:15 seconds a.m. Status read. Storage device, type incoming, folder inbox.
Bese ke olandelayo umlayezo inumber u278270444358 umlayezo ufundeka ngalendlela. Sorry. Uyatathazela ukhumbuleke ukuthi ke ikona koqala ke lokhu okukhulu kwaye futhi ke okumbeka ke elisweni elibike elimbeka ke kwiliso elibi futhi ke ukhathazekile ke mayelana nomndeni wakhe wonke. 2013 10/11 isikhathi 10:12 ama seconds awu15. Umlayezo wafundwa wagcinwa ke kuwona umakhala ekhukhwini noma ke storage kwakuwona umakhala ekhukhwini kwakumlayezo owathunyelwa.
Then on page 9, my lord, the telephone from 278270444358. The text reads as follows: what's worse is that his family is not schooled about how to deal with the media. Bapapa nje, especially his mother, who wants to be famous at my expense. My lord, it's difficult, yeah, but anyway, that's what it says.
What's difficult?
I'm saying the things that are said, they're insulting, but be that as it may, the date and time, my lord, it's 2013 October 11. Time is 10:14:06 seconds a.m. Status read. Storage device, type incoming, and folder inbox.
Olandelayo ke ubuya kuyona ke inumber u2782704435 umlayezo uthi ke okubike ukuthi ke umndeni wakhe ke awufundileke ukuthi ke ungathi ke udileke nazo ke izinto eziphathelene ke nemedia baphapha nje ukakhulukazi uma wakhe ofuna ukuthi adume ngami. 2013 10/11 10:14:06 wafundwa ke umlayezo lowo wagcinwa kuona ke makhala ekhukhwini kwakumlayezo owathunyelwa.
The next one, my lord, says telephone from 278270444358. The text reads as follows: I don't know what he wants to do. He can go if he wants to. The date, my lord, is 2013 October 11. Time 10:14:34 seconds a.m. Status read. Storage device, type incoming, and the folder it's inbox, my lord.
Olandelayo ubuya kuyona ke inumber 278270444358 umlayezo uthi ke angazi ukuthi ufuna ukwenzani, angahamba uma efuna. Isikhathi 2013 10:11 10:14 nama seconds out 34.
Then the next one, my lord, says telephone from 278270444358. The text reads as follows: I've given him a choice to live and told him I never want him to choose between me and his family. The date is 2013 October the 11th. Time 10:18 10 seconds a.m. Status read. Storage device, type incoming, and the folder it's inbox, my lord.
Olandelayo iyona-ke number 2782704438. Umlayezo uthi-ke nikezele kuyena-ke ukuthi-ke ahambe ngamtshela-ke ukuthi futhi angifisi noma angifuni ukuthi-ke akhetheke phakathi kwami kanye nomndeni wakhe. 2013 1011 isikhathi 1018 nama-seconds awu-10.
The next one at the bottom of the page, which will go to page 10, my lord, starts with telephone from 278270444358, and the text reads as follows: LOL. I just want this whole it's an insulting word, my lord. I don't. Should I read it verbatim, my lord?
Who is insulting who?
She's sending a message to Zandi, but it's I'll read it as it says, my lord.
Yeah, but I want to know who's insulting who, because you're saying the messages come from this specific number which ends with 358.
So the number 358 is the number of Miss Kelly Kumar.
Kelly's number.
Yes, and she's talking to the sister.
Oh, the
so
sister.
the person that has been discussed is the deceased, but it's the discussions between the two sisters.
Is that so?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes.
Now you don't have to read it, because at that time Senzo was still alive.
Yes, he was alive.
Yeah, fine.
This time. All right. Huh?
Are you done?
No, I'm not done.
Okay.
So the date of this message, my lord, says 2013 December 31. At the time, it's 11:51 seconds a.m. The status is read. Storage device type incoming, and the folder it's inbox, my lord.
Olandelayo-ke umlayezo buya kona-ke le number 2782704438. Iyasho-ke ukuthi-ke ngifisa nje konke lokhu, kodwa-ke kunegama-ke alishilo noma-ke elibhaliwe-ke khona la ngasilona-ke ukuthi igama elifanelekile ukuthi singalisho-ke ukuthi ngifisa nje konke lokhu ukuthi-ke sekungaphela isikhathi kwango-2013 12:31 11:15 51 a.m. nokuthi umlayezo wafundwa-ke bechaza-ke uma ekusho-ke lokhu ufakazi ukuthi-ke lana-ke ile number ekuthiwa yakhe-ke uMiss Kelly Khumalo ukhuluma naye-ke udadewabo, kodwa babekhuluma ngaye-ke umufi wayesaphila futhi-ke ngaleso sikhathi leso.
The next one, my lord, says telephone from 278270444358. The text reads as follows: I'm emotionally drained. I sometimes feel that Senzo brought a dark cloud in my life, and I can almost hate myself for not succeeding in getting rid of him via SMS, and the SMS will not go. I feel like God is deliberately sabotaging me by keeping this man in my life.
Olandelayo-ke ubuya kakuyona-ke le number u278270444358. Kuthi-ke ngokwasemoyeni-ke nje ngikhatheleke ngezinye nje iy'nkathi-ke ngizwa nje ingathi-ke uSenzo waletha ife elimnyama empilweni yami. Ngezinye iy'nkathi-ke kube nokuyizonda-ke ngokuthi ngingazange-ke ngiphumeleleke ekuthini-ke ngihlukaneke naye noma-ke ngimgudluzeke ngayo i-SMS nje ayihambanga noma ayizange ihambe. Ngizwa ingathi-ke uNkulunkulu-ke sekungathi yinto nje ayenza-ke ngamabomu-ke le ukuthi-ke agcine le ndoda empilweni yami.
The date, my lord, of this test was 2013 December the 31st, and time it's 11:24:31 seconds a.m. Status read. Storage it's a device, and the type it was an incoming message. The folder inbox.
Kwakuyi message-ke leya ngo-2013 ngeyi-31 kena-ke uDecember isikhathi 11:24 nama-seconds awu-31 a.m. ekuseni.
And then the next one, my lord, says telephone from 278270444358. The text reads as follows: oh yeah, laughing. I can't wait for the day he is no longer in my heart. The time was 2013. Sorry, the date, my lord, 2013 December the 31st. The time was 11:31:01 seconds AM. Status read, storage was the device. The type, it was an incoming message, and the folder is inbox, my lord.
Number 2782704438 umlayezo-ke uthi oya yahleka-ke angikwazi-ke ukuthi ngalinda-ke usuku la engaseyona-ke ingxenye noma-ke engasekho enhliziyweni yami yathunyelwa-ke ngo-2013 ngeyi-31 kuDisemba isikhathi 11:31 ne-second elilodwa.
The next message, the next readings, my lord, on page 11 reads as follows: telephone from 278270444358. The text reads as follows: all I can do is hope and pray that each day I am getting closer to my day of being free from him. The time, the date is 2013 December the 31st. The time it's 11:41 16 seconds AM. Status read, storage device, type incoming, and the folder is inbox, my lord.
Yona inamba kuseyona-ke 278270444358. Umlayezo uthi-ke engingakwenza ukuthemba nokuthandaza-ke ukuthi-ke ilanga nelanga ngiyasondela-ke ekuthini ngiyasondela-ke kusuku noma-ke usuku lwami luyasondela-ke lokuthi ngikhululeke kuyena. Kwakungo-31 kuDisemba 2013 isikhathi 11:41 nama-seconds awu-16.
Yes. The next thing that so the readings, my lords, ended because Kenneth Stein then extracted. He placed some other diagrams.
No, let's leave those. I was just interested in the messages, and the reason I was interested in the messages because you say in 8225, taking into account all these facts, an inference can be drawn that she meant killing him, and that inference you drew from these 12-13 messages that we have read.
Yes, some of them, my lord. I
Yes.
think the entire context, the entire downloading might be more than this. I think Kenneth Stein extracted some of it,
Yes.
but yes, this covers the inference that I drew, my lord. That's what she meant.
Bengifuna nje ukuthi kufundeke lawo ma message ngoba uyasho ke ukuthi ke wena ke wila usuthola khona ke kulama message ukuthi ke wayefuna ke noma kwakuyisifiso sakhe ke sokuthi ambulale. Uyasho ukuthi lokho kulama message awu12 noma u13 amanye awo ke ngoba ke akusiwona ke onke lana ephelele. Ngicabanga ukuthi nje uKenneth Stein wakhipha athize.
And the last sentence on 8225, just before the commissioning part on paragraph 5, it says, I hereby apply for the warrant of arrest for Nontanta Kelly Kumalo on charges of conspiracy to commit murder and murder. You see that?
I do see that, my lord.
And in relation to that, you then completed the J50 form. Is that correct?
Yes, I did, my lord.
Lana ke kufuneka ngalendlela ke manje ke sengenza isicelo ke sokubopha ke yena ke uNonhlanhla Kelly Khumalo ke ngoyinsolo noma ke kumasala ke icala lokubulala kanye futhi nokuhlanganyela ke ukuhlela ukubulala. Yebo, ila manje sengenza khona ke noma ngibhala khona ke leyo J50.
And that J50 is in your index, it will be A226. The statement is A225. The J50 form will be A226.
Yes, I recall the index is correct, my lord.
Yebo ke leyo J50 leyo ke uzoba u-A226 njengoba istatement lesi sona u-A225.
And just in passing, I don't want to belabor this point. You say then you did not execute. You went to this length to make this statement to complete the J50, but you did not execute or take the J50 plus the affidavit to the magistrate because this was prosecutorial driven investigation. What then happened? Because you were explaining something along those lines on Friday.
No. So the correct context, my lord, I said,
Yes.
it was my view that this is what we have. I think maybe if I can so that I can put it in the correct context. I said, prior to the accused being indicted by the DPP, it was my initial proposal that based on what we have, she must be charged together with these 5 accused. But it was clear on our interaction that from the prosecution side, there's further investigation that must be done. That led me to this statement 225 that Mr. Ramsipil is going through now, my lord, where I then came to say this is the further evidence that we have now collected, the cell phones and so forth. But as I said, it was a procedural-driven investigations. It was provided what I have, the application, and through the discussion, I was advised to hang on to it at that stage, my lord.
Okwenzeka-ke lana-ke mayelana-ke nokuthi-ke nakwakungaphambilini kokuthi-ke abasolwa-ke labo bahlanu abaphambi kwenkantolo bayobikelela-ke imantshi la engasho-ke noma uma ngikhulumisana nabo-ke abashushisi ukuthi-ke naye-ke akabe yingxenye-ke aboshwe abe yingxenye-ke base bethi-ke abashushisi aqhubekeke ngophenyo yila manje bhala khona-ke 5 ngisho ukuthi nabuke obunye-ke ubufakazi-ke noma-ke uphenyo olwenzekile-ke base ngase ngitshelwa-ke ukuthi cha angibe ngima-ke mayelana nalokho.
So in essence, my lord, the decision, my decision as a police officer is to investigate and do what exactly I did. You investigate, you compile your statement, you apply the J50. The process of the J50 in terms of authorization, then obviously the NPA and the judiciary then kicks in. So you simply make an application. If there's no blessings, that's how it is, my lord. I can't take it further than that.
Okwenzekayo-ke ukuthi mina-ke nanjengephoyisa-ke ukuphenya-ke ilokho engakwenza-ke ngaphenya-ke bese manje-ke i-J50 lena-ke incwadi-ke yokuthi-ke umuntu aboshwe-ke ila manje sengena khona-ke laba abashushisayo kanye futhi-ke noma-ke imantshi noma-ke mhlampe-ke ijaji-ke ila mina-ke okwami kuphela khona lapho. Uma ngabe-ke kungekho-ke isibusiso esikhona-ke ithi qhubeka-ke akukho engakwenza ngindlule kulokho.
Now, before I proceed on to the next aspect that has got to do with the reasons now where you stated that after carefully perusing and studying the docket, you then came to a realization that there were indeed intruders in the house, and then you gave certain grounds and reasons in your evidence in chief, and you stated that those were your personal reasons, correct?
Yes, guided by what was contained in the docket, my lord. But just to close this chapter of the warrant, my lord, to close it in the right context, because I want it to be understood in that context. It wasn't to say when there was no blessing from the NPA, there was a retraction. It was a question of saying, perhaps get some more, perhaps the issues of timing. It was a strategic decision that was taken during our interactions. So, but the position was not to say the NPA is against discussions that occurred between us, and I can't discuss them in this court, my lord. But it wasn't a refusal to say she should not be charged. At some stage.
Ngiyalivala lo daba lolu kumayela-ke nalo indaba-ke noma-ke udaba lolu lokuboshwa kwakhe-ke uMs Kelly Khumalo kwangasi ukuthi-ke i-NPA nanjengoba sasikhulumisana-ke ukuthi kwakuyikunqaba kubona ukuthi cha akangaboshwa-ke ngaleso sikhathi leso, kodwa-ke nanjengoba sasiqhubeka-ke sixoxisana noma sikhulumisana-ke ngaleso sikhathi leso-ke bathi cha kwakungesona-ke isikhathi.
Yes, sorry, Mr. Ramsipil, I just wanted to hear that. Sorry about that.
Now, just on an aspect that I touched on last week regarding 375, recall I asked you who is the A1 in 375, and you stated that it was Warrant Officer Makubo.
My response, my lord, was to say, according to the system, yes, Warrant Officer Makubo is the complainant. That's what I said, my lord.
Uma bengiphendula-ke mayelana-ke naludaba A1 owa kwakuyena ummangali kwidokote u375 ngithe-ke kuloko kuvela kwisystem uyena Warrant Officer Makubo.
Now, as you correctly stated that you had access, and by access you qualified it that one of the times was when disclosure was required to be made for the defense team herein of 375. And indeed, I do have the A1 statement of Warrant Officer Makubo in Foslora's case 375 of 01-2019. It was commissioned on the 22nd of January 2019, and the commissioner is a Joyce Busisiwe Buthelezi. It's a two-page statement. My Lord, with leave of the court, if I can just read the A1 to the Brigadier. Do you have a copy, Brigadier?
I don't have it now, my Lord. So yes, I appreciate if perhaps you can just.
I've got a copy with me that is not marked.
Thank you, my Lord. Yes, I now have one.
It reads on top, Foslora's case 375 of 01-2019 says, I, the undersigned warrant officer Mishek Makubo, do hereby state under oath as follows that, and paragraph 1, I employed as a detective warrant officer by the South African Police Services attached to 165 Mayor Street, Gininda, DPCI, Gauteng Province. I'm currently one of the 4 investigating officers in this matter and have 24 years experience in this field. He gives these contact details that we won't reveal in this court. Paragraph 2.
Usually when one wants to prove the entirety of the statement, you want it to be proven first through the person who made it, my Lord. But it would appear that my learned friend wants to place the entire statement on record without having followed that process. Brigadier Gininda, my Lord, is not the person to commission the statement or cannot vouch to the correctness thereof, but the entirety of the statement is put to him. We submit, my Lord, with the greatest of respect that will not be proper. There's nothing wrong in perhaps putting certain portions of the statement to him for comment, but to try and put the statement in total record, we submit it's not proper.
Yes, Mr. Ramasipili.
My Lord, let me do this. Mr. Mgomezula has indicated that this witness will be called later. Perhaps let me leave this statement from the Brigadier so that when he comes, this can be put first on record. Then.
But you shall have cross-examined. That's the point.
Sorry, my Lord.
You shall have cross-examined.
That's okay, my Lord.
Are you with me?
Yes.
You can't wait or rely on another counsel.
Yeah.
So you must decide. It's different if you want to use that statement. You say to this court, you are going to call Mr. Makubo, Warrant Officer Makubo, as a witness. Then that's different. Then it can be provisionally admitted under those circumstances.
No,
but if you don't make that...
No, that's not my intention, and those are not my instructions.
The learned friend is correct.
So it's Mr. Mgomezula perhaps was here because he's the one that had indicated that he's going to call it. If I can have it back, Brigadier, let's move on. Thank you. Now, let's go to Brigadier, to some of the reasons why you say there were intruders. And by asking you this, let me be upfront from the beginning. I'm asking as a cross-examiner for clarification purposes. My instructions are very clear from accused number 2, that he was not in the house, he was not involved in the commission of the offense. By therefore asking you about these reasons, I'm asking you as a cross-examiner. It does not come from Mr. Ntanzi that he knows something about what transpired in that house.
Understood, my Lord.
Imibuzo engizokubuza yona ke mayelana nanjengoba usho ke wena ngezathu ukuthi ke kwangani ke uthi kunabantu abangena endlini kucaceleke engikutshelwa uyena-ke engimele umsolo wesibili ukuthi yena-ke akazi okwenzeka laphaya wayengekho laphayana. Uma ngikubuza-ke akubuyi kuyena-ke uMr Ntanzi, ngikubuza ngoba yimina obuza imibuzo.
Now, one of the reasons that you mentioned, and I'm going to request you, because I don't want to misquote you, where I misquote you, put the correct context on some of the reasons that you gave that I may misquote you or misapprehend you on, right?
Right, understood.
Now, the first one you say is, according to the statements of the witnesses, a robbery of the cell phone belonging to Kelly Khumalo was taken by the robbers. Do you recall that?
Yes, well, I don't remember the exact context how I put it, my lord, but the essence of that submission is that there were allegations that a cell phone was taken, and I indicated why do I believe that indeed it was taken, my lord.
Ushilo ukuthi esinye seyizathu sokuthi ukholeleke ukuthi kunabantu abangena ukuthi-ke ofakazi-ke bayasho-ke ukuthi-ke labo abantu abangena-ke bathatha-ke noma-ke bamnkunzi-ke umakhalekhukhwini wakhe uKelly Khumalo. Angisakhumbula ukuthi indlela-ke engiyibeke ngayo, kodwa-ke zazikhona-ke iy'nsolo ukuthi yebo-ke wathatha.
The context was the following. You had stated that after the incident, the phone numbers and the people that were in the house congregated at clinics, bar the one cell phone that is 2498 that registered at Moleleki Tower. That is within that context that you stated this. Now, this phone allegedly at Moleleki, would you have any knowledge who was in possession of that phone at Moleleki?
Personal knowledge or based on the docket, my lord?
Yes.
Maybe let's. So, well, my lord, what is contained in the docket and is contained in the confession of accused Mr. Ramsipule's client. He says the phone was taken by accused 3 from him. He says he took the phone from the house and then it was taken from him by accused 3 as they were driving back. That's what is contained in the docket.
Manje-ke umakhalekhukhwini lona-ke oxoshwa-ke ithawa leyana-ke imuleleki-ke ubani owayewuphethe usefuna ukwazi-ke ukuthi-ke usho engikwaziyo mina noma-ke kwimininingwane esedokotini, kodwa-ke kuyona-ke i-confession noma-ke i-statement sakhe umsolo wesibili okuyi-client yakhe uMr Ramsipile ukuthi uyena owathatha umakhalekhukhwini endlini wase uthathwa kuyena-ke umsolo wesithathu.
In the context of the phones, my lord, what I said was that in convincing me that indeed they were intruders, one could see that the phone, and I refer to the runaway phone, the phone that disappeared, before this incident took place, was in the same tower with all other phones. So one tower picked them up prior to this incident. They were in the same tower. After the incident happened, when the other phones were moving towards the clinics, and I even said, my lord, the people who were there, who were in the house, were accounted for in the clinics in terms of what they were saying, who was there and so forth, including the deceased. But this particular phone, the runaway phone, took a different direction, and I indicated, my lord, that it then ended up at this tower of Moleleki. Yet the people who were in the house, supported by the phone, I know we even had a discussion as to whether Mom's phone was there or not, but I said they were in the clinics. In particular, I was focusing on Longwe because it was said Longwe is the shooter, and I said his phone, for the fact, was picked up in the clinics, supported by the tracker system of his vehicle that places in them.
Mayelana kumase sikhuluma-ke ngalo-ke udaba lolu lwama-phones nokuthi-ke axoshwa wabaphike amathawa noma yiphi ithawa ngaphambilini kwesigameko ukuthi isigameko senzeke-ke onke lama-phone lana-ke aye ngaphansi-ke kwethawa eyodwa. Kodwa-ke emuva-ke kwesiganeko ama-phones amanye la abantu ababesendlini-ke ngoba-ke ubufakazi buyashoka ukuthi-ke bahamba-ke baya-ke e-clinics kufaka naye-ke ulongo ngoba-ke iy'nsolo zazithi-ke ulongo kuyena-ke owadubula kanye futhi-ke ne-tracker ukuthi-ke nemoto yakhe yatholakala khona lapho-ke e-clinics. Kodwa lona wona umakhalekhukhwini esikhuluma ngawo-ke okuwona owathathwa-ke wona wase uthatha-ke i-direction ehlukile-ke emuva kokuthi isigameko sesenzekile.
Yes.
Now, when you inherited this phone and in this investigation, this aspect of the runaway phone, did you personally interview Kelly Khumalo about it?
No, I didn't. As I said, my lord, and I've put it, my lord, in stages, that the first part was the first fact-finding mission. In other words, to draw up an investigation plan, one needed to know whether, in terms of the second allegation, that is prior reading the docket, whether the investigation must be directed to the people who were inside the houses, the perpetrators, or indeed if they were intruders. So the first phase, when I was dealing with this aspect, was when we were dissecting the docket to establish whether there is evidence in the docket indicating whether they were intruders or not. So it is at that stage, my lord, and I couldn't interview Ms. Kelly Kumalo, anyone. I didn't interview anyone because I didn't want to be contaminated or influenced by those people. I wanted to rely on what is contained factually on the docket. So what I said is based on what I found on the docket, not on what somebody told me, my lord.
Ingabe ke mayelana nalo daba lolu ke waba nayo yini inhlolo khona noma ke interview naye ke uMiss Kelly Kumalo mayelana nalo makhalekhukhwini ke owathathwa ke endlini cha. Zokhumbula ukuthi eqaleni ngishilo ke ukuthi ke kwakuwukuthola ke ukuthi kahle kahle yini eyenzeka ngoba ke ukuthi mhlambe bakhona yini abantu ababengenile khona lapho noma babengekho kubhekwe labantu ababesendlini yini ngangingekho kwisimo sokuthi ke ngaba ne-interview naye ke uMiss Kelly Kumalo noma ubani ke ngoba ngangafuni ke ukuthi ke kube nomthelela ke obakhona ke kodwa mina ke ngihambe ngokwalokho noma ngifunde imininingwane le ekhona kulona idokodo.
My lord, I can also just add that if there was any evidence in the docket suggesting that there were no intruders, I can tell this court without any uncertainty that we were going to pursue that investigation. There is no way I would have taken a different direction when evidence points me, you'll be breaking the law. That's the simple essence of it.
Uma ngingayitshela ke lenkantolo uma kuwukuthi kwakunobufakazi obukhona kulona idokodo ukuthi cha babengekho abantu abangena endlini ngangeke ke mina ke ngiphume ngolunye uhlangothi ke kodwa ke idokodo noma information ekudokodo ithi cha babengekho abantu abangena endlini bengizolandela lokho engikujola idokodo ngingalandeli ke okunye ngoba ke lokho nje ngamazwi nje alula ukuphula umthetho lo.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just looking for one aspect that I want to refer you to regarding the so-called runaway phone. I'll come back to that. Okay, I've got it. If I may refer you, Brigadier, to the statement of Nompilo Melangwani Sangweni, who is one of the neighbors that was staying in Mzamo section at 13255 Bongani Street, Mzamo Straight View.
Yes,
it will be A94.
A94
of your index.
A94.
And it was commissioned on the 10th of January 2015 by the Commissioner Angel Mtetwa, who is a captain in the South African Police Services.
A94?
Yes, Nompilo Sangweni.
But I have an idea, my lord, of what Mr. It's a statement by the traditional doctor.
Yes,
I have an idea. I'll find it, my lord. But I know it's a lady. She's a traditional doctor from not far from the Kumano's house. So I'll find it. I've got an idea.
Just in relation to the phone, because I'm not going to. It's a four-page statement that is typed out. So it's quite lengthy. I don't want to refer you to the whole contents. I'll only refer you to paragraph 14 thereof relating to the runaway phone.
Yes, my lord, I'm listening.
Which says, before Kelly left, she had told me that the criminals got inside the house and pretended as if they wanted her cell phone. But she was surprised because they did not take the phone. They only killed Senzo. She found the phone next to the door after they had left.
As a court, please, my lord.
What's your time?
You know, once again, we're back
Hello?
to the same problem.
Yeah, I can hear- I can
Hearsay,
see that.
double hearsay evidence.
Are you going to call the lady? They say it's a traditional doctor.
I'm not sure whether she's alive, my lord. There's
Hello?
a question. I'm not even sure whether she is still present. I'll find out from the brigadier.
Now, I'm just interested. Are you calling her? That's what I want to know.
I'll find out from the brigadier if she's still available. Then I'll tell the court after the short adjournment.
I see.
Yes.
What's your time, sir?
12, my lord.
12.
Yes.
Okay, 15 minutes then.